Hi there, welcome to Bananas at Work. Scenario 1. He's my boss. I've got no banana. Hey Spencer.
Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. Have you got a moment?
Yeah, a moment, yeah, absolutely.
Great,
yeah.
fantastic. Listen, I wondered whether we might just have a little review on the discussion we had last year. I don't know if you remember, you said about now we would be having a review of my salary, obviously in an upward direction. So I wonder whether we could do that.
It will be a brief discussion, Mike. There's probably no point me beating around the bush. You know the situation. We know we've had a big round of redundancies, second round of redundancies for this financial year. We're going to make the announcement next week anyway, but just so that you know really, although I'd appreciate you keeping it confidential, we have to sustain the pay freeze at least until the end of next year, and then review again after that, after we can see where the land lies there.
Right.
I would also say probably your approach is a little bit misjudged, if I may, because clearly it's a very sensitive area at the moment. There's still a lot of people smarting from the redundancies, and frankly to be sort of pushing for a pay rise almost indicates to me that you haven't really thought this one through.
So no increase then?
No, absolutely not.
So that one didn't go too well, didn't get what I wanted. He probably did get what he wanted, so it was a lose-win. I had no banana. So we're going to try again now. This time I've got a banana. Spencer!
Hello Mike.
How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you
Good.
doing?
Yeah, great, thanks.
Yeah.
I wondered whether we just could have a quick conversation on the salary front.
Yeah.
You recall we had a conversation last year about this, and you said nothing was possible at the time, for obvious reasons. However, you did commit to me that we would review this year, and I reckon it's about time we did that. So, what's the situation? Are you in any sort of position to make me an improved offer?
Okay, well, I'm glad you came forward with it. Obviously, the MD and myself have been heavily tied up into both of the rounds of redundancies, which I know you understand and know full well. So, in all honesty, that's really taken the bulk of our focus for the last probably 8 months. And so we haven't really had an opportunity to seriously think about individual packages outside that.
Right.
Probably what I would say at this point is it's difficult news to deliver, but ostensibly the news is the same. We do have to remain with the pay freeze for most people, I think, for the next year.
Okay. Are you saying therefore that's a no at this point?
I'd say, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. That's a shame. Clearly, I've not been thinking since we spoke last time. I've been doing my research, and I guess you would not be surprised to hear that I've discovered that there are opportunities for me to earn somewhat more in the same role in other organisations. Okay. I've actually taken that somewhat further, and in fact have been able to obtain a job offer from another organisation if I'm so minded to take it. At this point, I haven't accepted anything. I thought I would like to give you guys the chance to just reflect and review and see whether there is any sort of flexibility on a one-off case.
Yeah.
So don't know how that feels for you.
Well, clearly it's an interesting light on things. You know that we value you on the account of that you haven't been made redundant at this point.
Yeah.
And so just to clarify what you're saying, if we have to say no, that you would work out your 3 months notice and then you have another job to step straight into.
I do.
Right, okay. Well, given that and the fact that we generally don't want to lose you, and I can't say anything here and now you wouldn't expect me to,
sure.
other than I'll go and speak again with the FD on this particular instance. I value you, keeping it close to your chest at this point.
Yes.
But we'll work to try and find you, something a bit more advantageous.
Okay. So scenario 3, one last go. We, as will become apparent, have both got bananas. Who knows what's going to happen? Hey Spencer.
Hi Mike, how are you?
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Listen, I wonder whether we could have that conversation again that we really didn't resolve last December.
Yeah.
The salary, the dreaded salary discussion.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We agreed at the time that it wasn't possible for obvious reasons. However, that we would review it if the market started to change or if our the internal situation looked as though it was improving, which from the evidence I'm reading and hearing seems to be the case. So really saying to you, any chance we can have another look?
Okay, right. Well, thanks for coming up with it. It's an important issue, clearly. Yes, there are some signs of recovery. Obviously, the books look better because we've got rid of 30% of our workforce. So that we need to sort of still see how that's going to sort of pan out in the long term. We also don't know if this sort of double dip recession is really what we're looking at. So I guess what I'd like to say to you is absolutely your name is very high on the list in terms of we need to look at things. However, that list probably really can't come out of the drawer until August. And when we've had our busiest period, let's see how the market really is responding.
Yeah.
I think shareholders would be very twitchy right at the moment if we would start uplifting people's salary or paying bonuses particularly, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's see how the summer goes, if we may. It's not. I don't like saying it. I know it sounds like stalling, but then we can review end of July, early August. Maybe sort something out for a decent summer holiday for you.
Okay. So just to be clear, you're saying no for now.
At this point, I'm afraid.
No.
Our hands are tied a little bit, really.
Okay. Well, it's useful to know where I stand. I think I need to sort of be clear with you on what I've been doing since we last spoke.
Okay.
As you would perhaps not be surprised to hear, I've been checking out some alternatives. The market, as you say, is picking up, and I've been approached on a couple of occasions actually, and have in fact got 2 job offers. Same role, different title, slightly broader scope, and about 20% more money.
It does give me some food for thought, I suppose. What I need to say to you is, obviously, we did foresee some pretty gloomy times coming maybe 18 months ago. And so, as you know, and you've been very instrumental in helping us do this, we've been sort of really upskilling a lot of the project team members to be able to take more of a lead role, and maybe this is the opportunity for us to let one of those team members that's responded well to that to really sort of step up and move into the kind of role that you're obviously going to be vacating. So whilst it pains me to say so, obviously I'll write you a great reference. It's a sad day for this company, but times are what they are, and we might just have to shake hands, say goodbye, wish you all the best, and move one of the other guys into and move one of the other guys into the role. Right.
Okay. So if I can summarise where we're at.
Yeah.
I'm saying I've got an alternative to explore. You're saying you've got options as well to fill the gap should I choose to explore.
Yes.
Okay. So my suggestion is that we kind of park both those options for now and actually just see whether creativity might have a part to play here. If we drill down into kind of what we both want from the situation, certainly I'm keen not to leave. I'm keen to get rewarded and acknowledged in the way I feel like I am not at the moment. But there are ways we could arrive at achieving that. And I don't know what your view is about, taking, if you promote someone into my role, then presumably you have to hire to fill that place, and that's got costs and so on and so forth. So, what's your feeling at this point?
So we will have opportunities for programme management moving forward because of the consolidation of all the projects that we've had to do because of the changes. Someone now needs to really take control over all of those. So maybe I'm going to ask you to consider. We can't make this decision now, clearly.
Yeah.
But whether that programme management role, which might require a change in location for you, but would certainly more than match the 20% uplift.
Why don't we? Excellent. Thank you so much for that encouraging response. I think we probably need to go and do some sort of exploration now. Then if you could come back to me with what that looks and feels like, and I need to look into sort of logistics and location and stuff. Yeah. And then let's come back and see whether we can nail it.
Yeah, I think hopefully we can salvage it. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Thanks, Spencer.